Hey friends and neighbors, thanks for joining us. Click on that subscribe button, leave a like. It really helps the channel grow, and we can't thank you enough for all the support. Benny, where can they find us on the social media?
Yeah, you can find us, Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We need to make some more TikTok videos.
Do you really need to make some more TikTok videos?
Yeah, why not?
All right, then. You hear that, friends and neighbors? Get on our TikTok. Benny's about to make some videos. Uh-oh. But in the meantime and in between time, we got some CFL and NFL previews and predictions. We got some NFL hot topics. But let's start off with some Winnipeg Blue Bomber hot topics. Big game tomorrow against the number one rivals from Saskatchewan. Only a couple games left. So do you have any concerns with this Bomber squad going into the final weeks as we inch towards the playoffs? You know, they've been on almost everyone's power rankings on the top at number one, not moving since. Any concerns?
Just the concerns is really the injuries for me. If they can avoid injuries too over the next 4 games. But the injuries right now, their DB position or cornerback position, with 2 rookies on the one side with Holman, Parker. I know Taylor has actually been practicing, so he's not out for the year like I thought he was. But yeah. So that's a bit of a concern if they can stem any of those injuries. Jeff Goat's out too this week. If they can get into the playoffs going healthy, they're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, maybe I have too much confidence in Ted Gauvet and Danny McManus, but I'm hoping that the talent that they have on the squad will step up, especially with the bye. Hopefully they got some good time to also take in the playbook and through the practice, get some timing in with the rest of the defense, and hopefully they sync up. I'm still concerned about that O-line. That O-line's been a concern, you know. Just like the Bombers have been up top the power rankings since day one, the O-line has been a concern since day one, especially in these games where they've been blitzed against and they haven't been adjusting. I'm just really concerned about the O-line, maybe / Buck Pierce not being able to adjust with that blitz. I fear going into these final weeks and to the playoffs, folks are just going to send the blitz.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Even with Saskatchewan starting off, Saskatchewan need to win this game coming up, right?
Absolutely.
They can't afford to lose another one and say have Hamilton win a game because now they're only 1 game behind. And they need to outright beat Hamilton, right? Have more wins than Hamilton. They can't be tied or anything like that, right?
Exactly.
So I can see Saskatchewan bringing that heat on D. You know, they had lots of time to look at that tape from that Hamilton game and see what was working for that Hamilton D line. Mm-hmm. And like you say, the tackles, Hardrick and especially Bryant have not had great years. And it's weird, right? Maybe they're just getting a little bit older, a little bit too many games played in the last little bit because they only lost to Jarlis, right?
Yep.
And I know center wise there was an injury for a bit, but yeah, they'll have to figure it out, and it'll suck if they have to bring in a 6th guy to start help blocking and stuff.
Yeah, well, they tried that tight end with bringing in Couture, remember, on that drive against Hamilton that they decided to foolishly pull Zach Claris off the field and put in Prukop when he was feeling. Yeah, they were playing a tight end, Couture tight end for some of that drive.
Terrible play.
Yeah, but a great formation. They got to keep that going, and that'll also help the running game. If you have a big guy like that playing your tight end, sealing your end, that's a good thing to do. So hopefully they develop more plays out of that. I hope. So that's my biggest concern, O-line.
When they played the tight end, did they take out a receiver, like one less receiver? Basically, is that what they had on that play? Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, I guess you're not taking out a running back. Still got to leave that in there.
Well, they played a lot of no back against Hamilton.
Yeah,
I mean that didn't help at all.
No.
Another hot topic. Can the offense get the consistency? This is kind of, I guess, connected to the O-line that they've been after all year. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and that like you say, it just brings it back to that O-line because we've seen when the offense clicks, it's actually pretty good. It's a thing of beauty when the O-line's working. Claros is finding receivers getting open, or Oliveira is running hard, right? It looks pretty damn good, but it's been few and far between that they've actually played like that, especially throughout the whole games. Hamilton started off like that, didn't happen the rest of the way. So I think Buck's got to get better with his play calling. We've talked about this, calling fancy plays when you're driving and stuff like that, just to mess up that rhythm doesn't work. You know, if you're bringing in Prukop maybe for that 3rd down, and instead of doing the short thing, you throw it long or something like that, right? Or a 2nd down and short. That's fine. But when you're trying to run this sweep or run pass option, whatever the heck it was, and Prukop keeps it and doesn't get it, that kills the momentum your offense is getting. So I'm hoping in the next 4 games. The only thing is you got, another bye in between and possibly another bye while the West Semi is going on. So might be tough.
Yeah, Bomber fans, we are being super picky here. We still realize this is a 12-2 team going into the playoffs with dealing with some injuries. So we're just being as nitpicky as we can, I guess. I guarantee, I promise. Because I have the most confidence in them still.
Oh, for sure.
To really go for a run, and O'Shea will have them ready to go. So there's no worries.
No.
Yet.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see over the next few games, and then injuries, right? If injuries start to pile up again, then you start to worry on that because they only have so much depth after a while. So,
absolutely. But
get these guys healthy. If DeMario Houston's back, if Dick Taylor can come back before the playoffs, that's awesome too, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about this matchup they have against Saskatchewan on Friday. It's supposed to be a beautiful night in Winnipeg for Friday Night Football. I can't wait. Who are you going to take in this game?
Yeah, I hear there's only about. It was earlier today, about 350 tickets left. So maybe they're gone by now, but that's close. Yeah. That's awesome.
I think last count I saw was 278.
Oh, there you go. So they're getting closer. That'll probably sell out completely by tomorrow.
Get your ducats. Come on, Rider fans. Make your way over here for the drive.
They're probably not making the trip this time.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, they're not making that trip because I see Winnipeg going 3-0 against Saskatchewan. I see Winnipeg winning this game. Both coming off a bye, like we said, maybe Saskatchewan had time to look over that Hamilton tape and to figure out what to do on D to slow down the Bomber offense because they couldn't do it last game. I know there was stomach issues and all that stuff last game, so that probably played a factor. So the O-line of Saskatchewan's got to be good. Dan Clark is back after the absent, but he'll probably come in with some rust. So they need to block and give Fajardo a chance to look downfield and find those receivers because he's got good receivers.
Yeah, I think the Bombers will hold their own at home. I think it'll be closer than we probably want it to be.
Yeah.
Because, like we mentioned earlier, the Bombers are a bit bruised in the secondary, and Saskatchewan's really hungry. I can see them really trying to force a run down Winnipeg's throat, especially if Jeff Coates not in the game. Confirmed?
Yeah, he's out for sure. But so is Hickson. So he's out with a fractured wrist. So I don't know. Is Joe Morrow back? Or it's probably not Joe Morrow. What was his name again?
They had another guy with an M that played well early in the year, too. I know what you're talking about.
I don't know if he's back yet, but they'll need help. They need that running game to get going, too.
Absolutely. I can see them leading. Because Bombers do give up yards, both in passing and rushing. So we'll see.
Yeah, and in that Labor Day game, when they were doing well for Saskatchewan, the running game was doing very well, Yeah. Then at the Banjo Bowl, they couldn't get that going, so it hurt them a lot.
You mentioned the Bombers going 3-0. It feels like they've played like 12 times this year. They haven't played more than 3 times? Goodness, really? They haven't played more than 3 times?
I guess it's just a lot in the last few weeks. It feels like it, but yeah, it's just 3.
Yeah, didn't they play I thought they played like 4 times in 5 weeks.
That's Toronto Hamilton.
Oh,
Toronto Hamilton.
That's right. Just watered down this rivalry. Here's a big game for both teams, considering Ottawa is still in the playoff hunt. BC is still in the playoff hunt, but they just have to win. They got to get it over this, not hump, but the inconsistency they had without Rourke. I'm going to take BC at home in this one, though.
Yeah, I'm going to take BC as well, just because I don't like what I've seen out of Ottawa for the most part this whole season, and especially last week.
Yeah,
I have no faith in Caleb Evans or Arbuckle right now after watching them last week as well. So this is time for Rick Campbell. He's got to get this offense in sync and get it going with Vernon Adams and all that. He is 3-0 against Ottawa lifetime. But without Rourke, his coach, we had someone ask us on YouTube, right? If we thought Rick Campbell was a good coach.
Yeah.
And it is a bit of a question because, I mean, he doesn't have a great record. I know he took over Ottawa expansion team his first time coaching there, and ended up taking them to the Grey Cup 3 times in a row. But 2 of those times, I believe they were under 500. Right? They had 2 seasons over 5, or good seasons over 500.
Yeah.
And for the most part, even with BC last year, he wasn't very good. Last season, Ottawa wasn't good. So he finally got Rourke, and obviously a good quarterback makes a coach really good most of the time, right?
It's a must in the CFL.
Yeah. So, and he looked good with Rourke, and the offense looked good.
He's a good coach. I don't doubt that at all.
He's middle of the pack for me, kind of thing.
In the CFL?
Well, I never really thought of actually the coaches in there now, but as a coach, completely like I would not be excited if the Bombers hired him. I probably wouldn't be upset if the Bombers hired him, kind of thing, you know?
I take O'Shea and I take Dickinson over Campbell. That's about it. Not Dinwiddie, not Police, not Steinhauer.
That's probably not saying a lot. I would take Steinhauer, not just based off of this year, though. No, but Steinhauer has been a good coach for the most part, besides this year. But that doesn't say a lot about some of those coaches in the CFL either. No. I wouldn't take a lot of those guys.
No, he's a third tier, top of the three tiers for me, unfortunately.
Close to the middle.
Yeah,
for me.
Which I guess is kind of the same. Yeah, Montreal and Edmonton. Really. Montreal and Edmonton in Edmonton. Forget it. Montreal is at Edmonton. A lot of the experts are taking Edmonton to win this game at home against Montreal. Who are you taking?
I guess I'm not really an expert, but I'm taking Montreal instead. You know, I still don't believe in Edmonton at home, and Montreal has been playing pretty good football lately. And I just see them beating the Elks. Yeah.
This was a hard one for me. That winning streak or losing streak's got to start and sometime. In Edmonton, is it against Montreal? I think so. I think this week Edmonton is going to break that streak, and it will be against the Alouettes. I think Krapinga is a little more comfortable. He got his money. He's a little more happy. He got confidence.
What did you say? Krapinga?
Oh, Tyler Krapinga. I'm talking about a kicker. Cornelius. So they're in good position to win at home. Who is? I must have been reading an article about that kicker, Tyler Krapinga. Oh, yeah. Krapinga was brought in by Chris Jones because I was looking at players because I made a claim that Chris Jones is not a good GM, which I undoubtedly stand behind.
Yeah.
Any which way, I went off track there. Edmonton at home, I'm taking to break that streak.
Yeah, we've thought it before. We always said, oh, they're going to beat Ottawa at home. They're breaking this streak. And then they come out and they stink. They were good last week. Good win against the week before, against Saskatchewan. Good win against them. Yeah. But I don't know. I still don't believe in Jones right now. We'll see.
Well, he has a roster now that he has going into the end of the year, so I'll take him in this game. Last game, actually a really good game. I'd probably say the matchup of the week. Matchup of the week, I think. Toronto at Calgary. I am going to take Calgary. Calgary at home, rates taking stamps. I just think because they're at home, I'll take that advantage.
Yeah, I agree. And I kind of think, too, this should be a really good game. Both decent Ds. Calgary's getting healthy on the back end, so that'll help a lot. And they both got quarterbacks that can throw. You know, Jake Mayer is probably better, but McLeod Bethel-Thompson still loves to throw that ball. So it'll be a fun game to watch.
Meyer's definitely a more dynamic quarterback. He's better at moving around and throwing on the move. So should be a good game. I'm hoping for a good game.
Do you think, probably not happening, but Bo Levi getting traded before the deadline?
No.
Yeah, it'd be kind of crazy for Calgary to do that, just in case on injury or anything like that. The Jake Mayer, you need that serviceable and good backup.
Yeah, it'd have to be a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
If they could get like an amazing starting defensive lineman or end, because I think that's what they'll need to get past Winnipeg, then I'd make the move. But other than that, no.
But it could quickly blow up in your face, right? It's just really risky. So
yeah.
Because at that point, if you lose Meyer and Bo Levi's gone, your chances of any Grey Cup is over, basically, right? I don't even know who the third stringer is. Knowing Calgary is probably good too.
But with a prime defensive end, your also chances to win a Grey Cup improve.
Yeah.
So who's going to gamble?
It's just hard. Yeah. I mean, obviously you got Jake Mayer in this prime defensive end. Hey, that's great. You got a great chance. But if you lose Mayer, it kind of suffers your chance unless they make a deal to kind of bring back Arbuckle or something like that, at some point, and then they can get rid of Bo Levi. Then you got a somewhat of a backup. I don't know.
Yeah, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. Let's go south of the border. Some NFL hot topics. We're going to look at who are the most or some of the overrated and underrated teams in the NFL. Who you got for overrated?
The one at the top of my list I'm going to go with right now is the Broncos. They're 2-1. probably, should have lost all three even. Russell Wilson and the offense is not clicking. Good thing that D has actually been solid.
Top 10.
But they also haven't played any good teams so far, and they're 2-1. I mean, Saskatchewan, jeez, the Seattle Seahawks, they didn't play Saskatchewan yet, and Houston, right? And then the Niners, who are supposed to have a good team, but not looking that good anyways right now. So
yeah,
rough start for them, but game-wise, but they're 2-1, and they probably shouldn't be.
I have two teams, both from the NFC East, the Eagles and the Cowboys. That 2-1 record is whatever. There's no meat behind that for me, at least. And the Eagles, I'm just waiting for them to play someone with teeth. They haven't really gotten there yet. I guess it was kind of impressive when they beat Washington, but it is Washington. Carson Wentz still hasn't proven anything. So I think both of those teams are a little overrated, or a little overhyped, a little too talked about. Eagles, I understand, though. They're undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, they looked impressive against that win against the Vikings, the Eagles. Yeah. But you can probably go with a few NFC East teams, like even the Giants at 2-1,
Yeah, but no one's talking about the Giants.
There are a lot of teams at 2-1 that have not looked great in getting to 2-1. Even the Bears, right? I mean, they're 2-1, but Justin Fields has barely thrown the ball at all. So,
and no one talks about them either.
No,
for good reason.
Yeah.
How about underrated teams? Who you got there?
I'm going to go with my boys in Jacksonville, Added them to my Power 5, but right now they're kind of underrated.
Yeah.
I know they lost to the Commanders in a comeback for the Commanders, which terrible loss there in that first week. But since then, they've actually looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Shutting out the Colts, beating the Chargers, and moving up and down on that defense. Even if you want to say Herbert was hurt, maybe that, made the game a little bit tougher on the Chargers and easier for the Jags. But they moved that ball up and down the field on that Chargers D, which is supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Lions as one of my teams. They're 1-2, but they're just sneaky good and sneaky tough. They're trying to really take that image of their coach, and I don't think they're going to be a playoff contender at all. They'll probably be one game over 500 or one game under 500, but I just think they're sneaky good, and people are sleeping on them. And I actually have the Broncos as one of the underrated teams. I really like their defense, and I think they'll just take Russell Wilson time and them to really feel each other out. He's a vet. I have a little confidence, so hopefully they'll be able to talk him down. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, defense-wise, Broncos are really good, obviously. I ended up watching that game on Sunday night, and it was, the D that held it together, and the offense just got it done. Yeah. The Lions, to me, I was impressed with them, and I've been impressed with them so far this year. I just hate the way they ended that game against the Vikings because it was like the same old Lions, having a lead and just blowing it by leaving a guy wide open, stuff like that. It's just like they can't get over that hump sometimes.
Yeah, they're still the Lions.
Yes. Yeah.
They'll always be the Lions as long as they're owned by the Fords, without a doubt. Can the Saints turn their season around? Talk about teams who are overrated or underrated. They're just kind of floating in the abyss of nothing.
Yeah, I took a look at their schedule. They have their next two games are winnable, the Vikings and the Seahawks, but Jameis Winston is hurt. I don't even know if he's going to play. So maybe Andy Dalton going against the Vikes on Sunday, which is probably not good for the Saints' chances. But the rest of their schedule was brutal. Like, it's one of the toughest. You got Bengals, Cards, Raiders, Ravens, Steelers, Rams, Niners, and so on. Like, it's all teams with probably winning records or close to winning records.
No, not the Steelers.
Steelers always play teams tough, though. I can't see that. And once they get TJ Watt back in there, and maybe go to Pickett, Trubisky time done.
What a great yeah.
But even though the Steelers D is always tough, no matter what, so it gives them a chance to win.
Yeah, I can see the Saints getting back in there. Like, I really looked at their schedule, and if they can round into form, maybe let Jameis Winston sit, maybe play Taysom Hill more, get the ball in that guy's hands so he can make some plays. I can see them legitimately going 9-5 the rest of the way. That might squeak into the playoffs. So that would make them, 10-6? 10-7, sorry?
Yeah, that'll be tough. I mean, they could probably make the playoffs with even 9-7 kind of thing. That seventh seed in the NFC will probably be there. 9-8. 9-8. They could probably squeeze in even with that, kind of thing.
So I can see them, but they really have to turn the corner, and they got to figure out what the offense is doing. They look lost.
Well, you got Winston obviously hurting. Michael Thomas is now hurting. Kamara has been in and out or hurting. Chris Olave is actually looked good, the rookie. And
I like
Landry
Chris
too,
Olave.
so, yeah.
Chris Olave got the Rookie of the Month, I think.
Yeah.
So good for him.
Yeah, he did pretty good last week, especially. So
yeah,
but it's gonna be tough,
Speaking of Alvin Kamara, one of the prime backs in the league, if you were to build a team, what running back would you build your team around?
Man, it was tough. I have two that I kind of went back and forth on. Jonathan Taylor, all around back, bell cow, can catch the ball really well, and moves really well. He would be probably my number one. But I got like a 1B, and that's Nick Chubb. The only thing for Chubb is he's always off the field on passing downs and that, so he's not typically a third down or a 3-down back.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's looked good so far this year. And when they give him the ball, I know Cleveland's got a great old line as well, but once they give him that ball, he finds those holes and he goes.
Yeah, it's hard not to go with Jonathan Taylor. He had such an impressive year last year, like over 1,800 yards.
Yeah.
And a bunch of reception yards as well.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be a homer for this one. I'm going to go Najee Harris. First year, that guy took the most carries in the league behind one of the worst O-lines in Steelers history. And he also had like 79 receptions. So he's an all-round back. He's a great blocker. I love his attitude. I'm going to take Najee Harris.
Yeah, you probably can't go wrong there either. It'd be interesting once that O-line, Steelers get that O-line fixed up, how he does with an O-line like that.
Exactly.
Good O-line. Like if he had the, Jerome Bettis O-line and all that kind of stuff.
Le'Veon Bell O-line?
Le'Veon Bell O-line, yeah, that too.
DeCastro, Pouncey. He's better than Le'Veon Bell, without a doubt. Najee Harris is better than Le'Veon Bell. And Le'Veon Bell was dang good.
Le'Veon Bell could have ended up being really damn good if he just would have stayed where he was.
Yeah, I got my fantasy title off of his ass, so that's all I need. Is Lamar Jackson going to end up with a fully guaranteed contract?
They're probably just going to tag him, right, for the next couple of years. Yeah, but he probably deserves one. Or I don't know what deserves, but he probably should get one, right, in the next line of quarterbacks. It's getting harder and harder. They're making more and more quarterbacks, no matter what. Even if they haven't accomplished anything or won a Super Bowl, they're still getting paid next highest level. But he's been pretty good so far this year.
Oh, he's been lights out.
So,
MVP caliber.
Yeah.
They can't franchise him. He'll just
they will.
Like, why would they do that? He'll be like, I'll just sit then. Go ahead. Who do you got? Who do you got to replace him? Like Huntley?
What's his name? No. Is Huntley still there? Or is it McSorley? Who is it?
Marty McSorley?
No, it's like Tracy McSorley.
So, yeah, he got out of the biz. So, yeah, they have to pay that guy.
Yeah.
And he will be making fully guaranteed money. They're in no position of power in these negotiations.
No, and they probably should have paid him this year because now it's probably it's going up.
Absolutely. They're like, no, we can't give you Deshaun Watson. It was like, what was Deshaun Watson doing again week 1 through 3? Well, get a massage.
Nothing. Yeah, I was gonna say that
too soon.
But I shouldn't say that at all. Terrible.
Soon. He's a piece of trash, though. He's a piece of trash.
He is a piece of trash. The fact that he gets to come back and play is terrible too.
I know. NFL. I got so much to say about the NFL. Just hold on a second. Let's look at these 4 games here. NFL preview and predictions. Jags versus Eagles. I'm gonna take the Eagles in this one at home. Eagles at home?
Yeah.
I'm taking the Eagles at home for sure.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to take my boys, the Jags, I'm not going to do that. Eagles at home, and that D has been pretty good.
How are you going to take your boys, the Jags, when you have your boys, the Eagles? They're number 1 on your chart, man.
I know.
That's the definition of your boys.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess both boys. I'll take the higher up boy in this one.
Take the favorite boy in this one. Yeah, I'm going to take Eagles at home. I think it'll be a good game, though. But that Eagles defense looks good against the teams they've played so far. So we'll see how good Trevor Lawrence is. Yeah,
the only time that Eagles D did not look very good was when Detroit started coming back late in that first game.
That's true.
But other than that, I mean, they made mincemeat of Carson Wentz last week. The Cousins, they picked them off, 3 times? So it'll be a good test for the Jags to see really where they're at now that they get to play another tough team like this, but with a good D.
Yeah, I agree. Bills at Ravens. Who do you got in this one? I found this one really difficult to choose.
I think this is just going to be a high scoring affair. Ravens D just can't stop anyone. And I think Lamar is just playing lights out right now to even Bills have a good D. But I expect Lamar still to be able to move the ball on them up and down, get some points. But I'm going to end up picking the Bills. They got to prove that they can stop and slow down Lamar.
Yeah, I don't think Lamar Jackson will look good this week. I think the Bills will win this one. I think it will be high scoring to a point. To a point, because I think Bills do have a strong defense. They can slow the game down a bit. And I don't think Andrews is enough to beat a team like the Bills.
It all depends if those guys are back. Are a bunch of those guys back that were injured last week? Mika Hyde's on the IR, I believe, but there's a few other guys on D that were hurt. So
is the injury report out yet for those games?
I mean, there's a practice reports and stuff that's not who's active or not yet. Right. Ended up missing that. But if Buffalo does get most of their guys back on D, then yeah, I could see it being tougher. But if those guys are out, I think it'll be still tough on their D to handle Lamar.
Yeah, so we both got the Bills on that one. Here's another good game. Oh, kind of. Chiefs at Bucks.
Who we got?
I'm so flip-flopping on this one. Can we go to the next game and then come back? I'm going to take... You go first.
I'm going to take the Chiefs. I know it's in Tampa, but the Bucks offense has not looked very good yet to me. Yep. And hopefully they get Evans back, or Evans is back. Hopefully they get Godwin back, maybe Julio, and finally get their offense back together again. And we'll see if they can get better. But I'm still going to pick the team that's intact, and they'll be ticked off from losing last week to the Colts. So the Chiefs.
No doubt they lost to the Colts, eh? So then, thanks for mentioning that. I'm going to take the Bucks at home. Tom Brady is usually at his best through adversity. They had to do a little bit of traveling and moving around and shifting with the hurricane and stuff. The game is going to be played on schedule at home. So, when the tough gets going, it seems Tom Brady gets better. So I'm just going to take the home team and the pretty good defense in Tampa Bay to win against the Chiefs, who did look bad against the Colts. Ugh. Yeah. If you didn't remind me about that, I think I was going to take the Chiefs, but that was horrible. Last game in the laughable AFC South. Actually, they're middle of the pack in regards to divisions, but they're still laughable. Titans, Colts. Who do you got in this one? Or should I go first in this one?
Yeah, you give her.
I'm going to take the Titans on the road in Indy. I don't know why. I probably should take the Colts from that momentum last week, but
Yeah, I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna take the Colts in this just because they're at home. I'm losing more and more faith in Ryan Tannehill as a quarterback. Sometimes he looks like a world beater, and then sometimes he's just mediocre. So
wow, I've never had any faith in that guy.
Sometimes he starts to look good, and you're like, oh, maybe he can do it. And then it's like, I'll just hand the ball off to Derrick Henry.
Yeah, we're better off that way, especially now you don't have AJ Brown.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They don't really have that receiver right there. I mean, they got decent receivers, but not a star like they had in Brown.
Yeah, he's a physical specimen. That guy
he's huge.
Crazy. Yeah. Jeez, good luck. Don't forget to leave your predictions, both CFL and NFL. Leave your comments. Some great comments this week. Some great discussions in the comments section. So join in. A little bit of Jets talk.
Yeah, for sure. Another exhibition game tonight that they beat Montreal in. So,
what's the score?
4-3.
How about your boy Rick Bonus? How's he doing? Is he having a good time in Winnipeg?
Well, so far, I mean, he's coming out. He's being open with the media. Straight to the point, really. Not the long stories that we'd hear from Maurice with really no answer, but it was a beautiful answer, and it got everyone's attention kind of thing. Bonus came straight out. Basically said, you know what? Bad habits. He doesn't like it and trying to fix them, veterans. And he pointed out who, or if you looked it up and saw who he was talking about, Shifley, Ehlers, and Connor, that they were playing too much long shifts. Yeah. And then they were getting tired of it, right? Those guys average more than a minute a shift.
Ugh.
So Bonus called him out. I mean, he talked to them as well, but he called them out in the media, letting everybody know, hey, this is how we're going to handle this and go from there. And I actually like the way Shifley took it. I don't like he kind of said being a high-end player, being in the top 6, it comes with the territory for longer shifts. Yeah, okay, I get it. A little bit longer shifts, but not too long where the point where you can't back check if you have to, right? But he did say it's something they have to work on, so that's encouraging to hear.
What's the average of the shift usually?
45 seconds?
45?
Like yeah.
Golly. Yeah, man, get off the ice, bro.
Maybe, I don't know, like for sure, but it's definitely under a minute. So.
Oh, for sure, man.
Yeah.
That's tiring.
I mean, some guys like the Scheifele, Ehlers, those guys probably 45 seconds. Some of those, fourth liners, maybe a little bit less because they're going hard kind of thing the whole time and bumping guys. So
I'm really just waiting for these line combinations to come on through. It looks like Haynol is really getting some momentum in the back end there. Scored a goal 2 games ago, not last. Yeah, against Edmonton. Yeah. No, not against Edmonton. Last game. Yeah, that's right, because they got shut out. But any which way, so he's getting some momentum.
He actually set up Logan Stanley with a nice pass across the ice, and Stanley, Jake Allen stopped Stanley on it. And it's funny because both of those D were down low, right? So Haynol skated in and Stanley the other side, and it was a great play. It was actually good to see even by Stanley reading that, and they kind of got that chance. Speaking of that, though, so my question to you is, did the Jets need to move a demon to get Sandberg, Haynol, Stanley more into this lineup?
I think they need to move a defensive lineman to get an asset. I think we still either can get someone young in the system or someone young and ready to play a third line minutes. Not fourth line, third line minutes. If they can, then do it. But don't trade for the sake of trading, or don't trade to push a young guy in, I'd say.
It's just tough because you got 5 defensemen already that take spots, and now you got 1 left for Stanley, Haynol, Sandberg. So 2 of them are going to be sitting out here and there quite a bit throughout the season, right? So, But I agree. You have to get something for it. If you get something decent for Dylan or Schmidt or something, you almost got to look into it and take it.
Well, maybe they could play 11-7. Your favorite.
Oh, God. Homo back. Why don't we play 10-8?
Hey, whatever it takes at the beginning of the year, see who has it. But that's the thing about Bonus's system. It's very defensive minded, but he promotes his defensemen jumping into the play.
Yeah.
On when they're turning back. So,
it'll be interesting. I'll give them a chance here to see what they can do in the first few weeks of the season. At least maybe it'll be exciting, but I'll hold my reservations till then.
I see growing pains. I see growing pains in the first quarter of this season, and growing pains I'm willing to go through. Like if I'm not willing to go through it, it doesn't mean nothing. But you know what I'm saying? As a fan, it's just, I think we got a new coach, new system. There'll be new players playing new positions, so we have to give them a little time.
A little time. I'll give them a little bit of time.
I say 20 games I give them? A quarter of the way? That's something.
Yeah. It's crazy how little you hear of Blake Wheeler right now at all.
He's not the captain. Why are you going to talk about him?
It's like not even talked about at all. He doesn't even have to do media interviews anymore kind of thing. Like it's like he's gone. It's like, I don't even know what line he's on kind of thing. We'll see what happens here, but it's crazy.
Sounds like Rick Bonus is doing his job.
Yeah. So far, so good on that. We'll see if he keeps up.
You got a Brickhead for this week?
Oh, yeah, I got a Brickhead. I'm giving it out to a full team here, the Miami Dolphins coaching staff, medical staff, whoever, for letting Tua back into that game on Sunday, for one thing, after it looked like a pretty nasty head concussion. They filed it as a back injury or whatever.
No.
And then allowing him to play again tonight, only 4 days later.
How do you do that?
And
the guy
take another
fell to the ground. How do you do that?
Yeah,
the guy fell to the ground when he was trying to get his way back to the huddle.
Yeah. It was terrible, man.
You let him play in less than a week, and now look what happened.
Well, you let him play even in that game, for one.
Jeez.
He sat out, 20 minutes?
But now look what happened.
Yeah, he's in rough shape, and it did not look good on that field, and it's kind of disgusting to see that. You don't want to see ever a player like that.
Dude got carted off.
Oh, they're terrible. Terrible by the Dolphins. It's all about winning games, man.
I have no medical degree, and I could tell that dude had a concussion. And we've talked about it. I'm like, he shouldn't be playing on 4 days rest.
No, not at all. Shouldn't have been anywhere close to that lineup.
How is it that a dumbass like me in Winnipeg can see that, but people in the organization can't?
Well, they can see it. They knew it probably too. It's just all about the money, and it's all about the wins.
That's not a good look for the Dolphins.
No.
It's one that I can believe comes out of Steve Ross. One that I'm very surprised comes from a young guy like Mike McDaniel. I thought he'd be more on the ball on this.
Yeah, he should be a little bit more progressive on that side of erring on the side of caution more than anything. Not like the old school guys, but maybe he didn't have a choice. Who knows? We know how Stephen Ross is.
Well, that's the thing with protocol. You pass these baseline tests and you're good to go. Like common sense says, this guy had a major concussion. He shouldn't be playing football in 4 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Terrible.
And we saw this tweet by Chris Nowinski. He used to be a wrestler in WWE, saying 5 hours, 2 hours before game time, that there's no way he should be playing. And if he gets injured, his season and career could be damaged. And if that happens, people should be sued for it and lose their jobs. And I agree with that.
Oh, for sure.
What a joke.
I mean, this definitely needs to be looked into further again. And it's, again, another thing with the Dolphins, right? That you just got tagged for tampering too. But I guess you act the way your owner does. You know, Stephen Ross is not the greatest of owners. So
exactly. We're not surprised. Come on.
Yeah.
What a young guy who's turning the corner. He's starting to turn the corner on his career.
And it taints it and it hurts the season. You're 3-0. You should be more applauded for the being 3-0, blah, blah, blah. And the offense looked good too, looking good. Yeah. But if you would have done the right thing, you did the wrong thing. And now instead of celebrating 3-0, possibly going 4-0 tonight, you know, you're going to get destroyed instead, and rightfully so.
Exactly. And this guy's career could be ruined.
Yeah.
His career's changed.
It's his livelihood. Who cares about even his career? Like, his livelihood's still got to be good too, right?
It's like he can't take any more of these hits.
No.
Ugh, what a failure on all levels at the NFL and with the Dolphins.
Yeah, not taking this stuff seriously yet, and it's amazing that they aren't at this day and age, and how much time and what we know about concussions.
Exactly, they got all these guys running around with these big foam helmets for preseason, but when it comes down to it, when it's a simple eye test, they fail.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Joke. Roger Goodell, what a joke. Let's talk about good things. Shout outs. I'm going to shout out the Toronto Blue Jays for making the playoffs. Good for them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wild card spot, I guess, first, right? So they got to play a couple games to get to the next round or whatever, but awesome. Hopefully they can do that and make a good run of this.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about Blue Jays later on if they make a good run. Who knows what happens? That might be a surprise. We'll see.
Yeah, exciting times again.
Yeah. Benny, you got anything to say to our friends?
You know what? Thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget, subscribe, follow, check us out, leave some comments here and there. Send us a message. We'll send one back. Have a good week.
And in the famous words of Randy Cross, considering what we talked about with Tua, Goodell, and Stephen Ross, the NFL, like life, is full of idiots. Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.